In the year 1865, the English mathematician Charles Dodgson, using the pseudonym Lewis Carroll, published a children's story titled Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The story achieved significant success, having been translated into 174 languages. It narrates the tale of a young girl who observed a rabbit, fancied it producing a pocket watch, gazed at it, and hastily pursued as it hurriedly retreated to its burrow. Attempting to look into the burrow, she slipped and fell into a profound tunnel of depth, unveiling a world of wonders and peculiar creatures behind it, commencing her adventures in that realm. The process of doubt is a mental odyssey akin to a considerable extent to the adventures of Alice. Although it often leads to truth, it necessitates a well-prepared intellect to embark on this journey. Nevertheless, divine wisdom decreed that most minds exhibit a rigidity of thought, clinging to entrenched ideas and theories that become immutable constants over time, resistant to doubt. Consequently, engaging in such a journey leaves the traveler ultimately perplexed, circling in empty orbits leading from one to another, and the only way to escape this labyrinth is to retreat to the secure zone, where the mind finds solace in the embrace of prior knowledge. Well, do you believe that doubt is the first stage of certainty? If your answer is yes, that is commendable, for you are then present, as Descartes proclaimed, and not a mere pin, as a clever wit once said. If your answer is no, that is also commendable, as mere skepticism about the ability of doubt to attain certainty is a sign of health. Indeed, it is not always the avenue to certainty. Surprisingly, you may be astonished to learn that doubting the existence of God inevitably leads the doubter to faith in the existence of God. Descartes himself asserted this through logic, stating that humans doubt, therefore, they are incomplete beings. The concept of deficiency is countered by the idea of perfection, implying that man must have a complete creator. Al-Ghazali, may he rest in peace, doubted the intellect, suggesting that a stronger force than reason might prove its error, just as reason demonstrated the fallibility of the senses. This force was identified by Sufis as the possible and non-impossible power, known as the heart event, or the divine light cast by God into the human heart, unveiling the veil for one to perceive truths from their celestial source. Thus, doubt becomes the characteristic of minds seeking truth, absent in the minds at ease, as termed by Imam Ibn Taymiyyah. These minds lean towards truths that resist discussion, although untested by genuine scientific experimentation, anchoring them deep within their minds with mental nails, unwilling to be approached, considering them axioms. For instance, it is intuitive that the Earth is a sphere rotating around the Sun. But where did this intuition come from? Of course, scientists informed us that the Earth is a sphere revolving around the Sun within a solar system, the entire system orbits the galactic axis, and the galaxy itself traveling at an unimaginable speed in the vast cosmos. They diligently worked day and night to prove the validity of their theory. Subsequently, those who exerted even more effort came after them, constructing a colossal aircraft called the Space Shuttle. They managed to pierce through the spheres of the heavens, surpass the Earth's atmosphere, and capture images from space, conclusively demonstrating that the Earth rotates around itself and around the Sun. Thus, we have learned since our early years these truths that have become intuitive, resisting any means of denial. We teach them to our children just as the tribe of the blind did. However, since doubt is an inherent quality in the human mind, children are not easily convinced. They innocently and spontaneously inquire with childish logic, how do we live on a sphere, without falling while it spins? If the earth is the one spinning around the sun, why do we see with our eyes that the sun is moving? And if the earth is the one rotating, why don't we feel its movement? The received response among adults asserts that Earth's gravity holds everything on its surface to prevent it from falling. The child is convinced because this is what the teacher says in the classroom, what the study books state, what my grandfather and father say. It aligns with what our ancestors have affirmed. It echoes through the media, the research of scientists, the words of friends, and the accumulated experiments and knowledge passed down through generations. Every rational person living on the earth asserts this. The only thing that does not say so is logic itself. We do not feel the earth's rotation, we see the sun, moon, and stars appear to be the ones in motion. However, we willingly choose to set aside this logic and consider it an inevitable loss before the scientific evidence that proves the contrary. Thus, we refrain from revisiting such questions to avoid being accused of ignorance or foolishness, growing in certainty that the earth is a sphere rotating around itself and around the sun. If someone were to ask, how is it a sphere when the horizon before our eyes appears completely flat? We would laugh at him and his small-mindedness, and if we see that he is serious in his inquiry, we guide him towards the path to the mental hospital, so that he willingly goes there, sparing himself the trouble of being arrested or the misery of having stones thrown at him by children in the streets. This matter was settled since the days of Copernicus, perhaps even before him. Confirmed by Galileo, endorsed by all space agencies, NASA at the forefront. How can someone cast doubt on it, contradicting what scientists have said, what we have come to know and inherit in terms of knowledge and sciences? Earth is also composed of layers, with a molten iron mass in its core creating the magnetic field that keeps us humans, animals, buildings, water, and all entities in a state of stability. It grips the moon in its orbit, preventing it from escaping and drifting into the depths of space, or falling upon our heads. The more you search in references, scientific books, and the internet for these truths, you will discover that they are intuitive. There are thousands of illustrations of the solar system structure that we memorize effortlessly, and you can easily summon them from your mind now. Also, there are other diagrams depicting the layers of the Earth and its core. All of this we have learned through science, which has propelled us with undeniable leaps. But the question remains, did it propel us forward, or did it propel us backward? Is it true that this science achieved accomplishments that ancient civilizations did not, even though we are entirely incapable of reaching what they achieved? Has it provided us with confirmed facts or theories that allow doubt? In short, a theory is a set of opinions and assumptions attempting to explain phenomena, and the concept of theory varies depending on the phenomenon under investigation. For example, if we witness things spontaneously catching fire, a theory could be proposed explaining it as the work of demonic forces. However, we cannot scientifically prove this because we are unable to subject our theory to what is called in the scientific method testability and verification. Therefore, it cannot be considered a scientific theory, but rather opinions or a philosophical theory at best. However, a scientist may come along and investigate this phenomenon scientifically, proposing a theory stating that a group of nearby mirrors reflects sunlight, increasing the temperature and causing the fires to ignite. He then substantiates his theory by measuring the temperature of the location during the day and night, recording observations and results. He makes comparisons based on the ignition temperature of objects, and if these objects reach a certain temperature, they burn according to mathematical equations and scientific proofs. Here, it becomes a scientific theory, because it relies on measurable data and reaches results that can be retested for confirmation. Although a scientific theory is also a set of opinions, it is repeatedly tested to affirm its validity through observation and experimentation, becoming the most reliable, accurate, and comprehensive form of explaining a phenomenon or proposing a model, such as the solar system model, or the Big Bang model. So, a scientific theory is testable opinions and conclusions that explain and describe, while a model interprets and serves as a supportive role for the theory. Throughout centuries, the theories and models proposed by scientists become constants that we learn in schools and universities, believing in them with unwavering certainty because they have undergone repeated experiments that validated their accuracy. Does that mean they are true? Maybe no, as we lack the ability to test theories ourselves, and everything we validate, believe in, and defend is imposed upon us. Therefore, our only option is to enter the rabbit burrow, use the proper method of thinking, and open the doors of doubt with restless minds chasing after the truth, making adversity a path forward. Diverging from preconceived cognitive programming.